All right, man. Well, this is it. This is the final time we're going to
The
be
final
talking about
segment,
Superman the
Superman.
movie.
Hey, but we still got like nine after this one, so we're good.
Oh yeah, there's like there's
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 plenty of
like
content.
73. Yeah. I always think that my notes aren't going to be so long, and then we get to the thing and I'm like, "My God, we got a lot to
Yeah.
get through." There's a lot crammed into this episode. Uh so
Hell, there's a lot crammed into this last segment.
yeah, it
Because
is.
I was
It
like,
is.
damn, there's a lot going on. It just seems to it gets more hype. It
Yeah,
seems like about every 10 or 15 minutes.
it really
You
does.
know?
It really does. Oh, let me tell you something. Did you know that you've been listening to K? All right, so we're back, and to fill everybody in, we've just gone on the first date, and he's flown her around, and
Into
then
the last segment. Yep.
yeah, and then can you tilt your mic down just a little bit? Just I'm just getting some peas. There you go. Just not too much. Split the difference. There you go.
Is that
Okay, that's
better?
cool. Yeah, just go pop. So
Back in.
anyway, here we are after the last segment where he flew around as Superman and was there on the other side as Clark. And anyway,
Yeah, a continuous scene, right?
yep,
They didn't cut.
a continuous scene. And with this kind of picks up the third kind of
Phase of
act,
the movie.
or
Yeah.
yes, feeling, and it's more of a heist disaster movie, kind of like, if
Yeah,
you
this
you
last part,
know.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
so
because now it's yeah, Lex is causing all this chaos. So
yeah. Yeah, okay. So we pick up within Lex Luthor's lair and they're reading the newspaper. And I wish I was thinking I would have started something that was like a segment called What's Otis Eating? If I could just figure
because
out
he's
what's,
always eating
yeah,
something.
if you could just
That's
see,
true.
oh, that's a Butterfinger, or oh, that's
A
a can of uh uh
can?
no, not like a can, like a bag of like what do they call them? I don't know, corn nuts. I think it was
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
bag of corn
Yeah.
nuts at some point. Anyway, they're reading the newspaper where Superman just gave it all away. And Lex figures it out in just about 3 minutes. He's like, okay, so Krypton's here. It took him about 3 years to
Yeah.
get here.
He's doing all these calculations. Because as he was reading that, and of course, it's like, why? And even when we watched the last one where he had the meeting with Lois, you're like,
Yeah.
why are you giving away all your trade secrets, man? Like,
Yep.
people are gonna figure out like that, It's and they
And
did.
and they did, and that's what happened. Lex
Just to get the
figured it out.
story.
But I love his bookshelf that he has here.
It's basically the internet back then.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Because I was like, damn, man, this is encyclopedias and
Yeah. Yeah. All
that's
the
what I was thinking. I was
no,
like,
it
shit,
is.
how we everything's at the tip of our fingertips when we want information. And
Yeah.
then you had to seek it literally.
Well, like we said last time, he's not going in and out every day. And he's like he's not going in up and into the city every day. So he's
No,
gotta
no.
have. How did he get all that stuff down there? That's another thing. How did he get all that shit down there? What that's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how he did it, but it's another suspension of disbelief. The writing is just super stellar here, where he's like, oh, and you want N, no, not N. Otis is Neanderthal, and then Kapoop,
That's right.
Nitwit, and L is in ladder.
Yeah.
It's I just the writing is just fantastic there, where he's between him and Otis, just the banter back and forth. And so he figures out, he figures out that if Krypton exploded in 1948, but hey, hang on. I thought that Jarrell said that they've been dead for like thousands of
Yeah,
years.
right.
Oh, okay.
I
All right.
wait,
Okay.
that must have took him a long time,
Yeah.
but he was still like a baby when he landed.
I don't
So
understand it. Ergo, he's 6'4", you know that?
that's why.
Yeah, but if you watch these scenes, the acting is wonderful. Someone's always reacting there. And anyway, Lex figures out that hey, this one specific rock that landed in this one specific place about this time, that's got to be the thing that
Basically,
destroys it.
yeah, he's takes away all his powers.
Unless Superman's like, God, be a shame if some of the debris from my planet came and followed my rocket ship all the way here.
That could potentially destroy me.
Yeah. So now we're getting into the missile plots. Everything from here on just goes super fast.
Yep. But before that, I like the part when Lex is sitting, he's interacting with Otis, and he says, he's like something about the number 200. I can't remember how he phrases it. And he's like, that's your weight and that's my IQ. Let's go, people. You know,
now
he's
think, people, think. Come on.
Go. We can figure this out.
Another one another one he says is like, doesn't it give you a shudder of electricity through you to be in the same room with me?
Yeah. He's just so great.
Yeah, he is. At least he knows it. So so then we get to the missile plot section, and like we said, everything's going really fast. They if you see the green car that they see that drives, that flips over, that Miss Teschmacher is laying in, they reused that scene. Yeah, they reused that footage in Superman 2. So just a little factoid there. Not saving it for trivia time. Got way too much for trivia time. And I'm not reminding you.
What time it is this time?
I don't know. Right? I may ask it another way. Who knows?
But yeah, that dude, that you know what? Hey, that was pretty close to self-driving cars. I'm like, that's
yeah.
I like. Did you notice how the car flipped? How he made it flip?
Yeah, for sure.
That little lever
on it.
Yeah, I had to watch that a couple of times. I wonder how they did that. You know, because somebody. Well, I don't know. Maybe they would have done the stunt with somebody on the inside. But that was cool, man.
Yeah, it was. Cool. And they only did that. The car only flipped like once or maybe twice, but they had so many different cameras around that area that they just cut that footage, and so it looked like it was a way big. It was just
right, yeah. Like, and that's how it is, right? It's like
yeah, exactly.
It flips. It goes this way. It goes rolling down the hill. That's not reality.
It's not reality at all,
unless it's a freak situation.
And Otis is hiding behind the bush. He's eating something again. I wish I knew what he was eating.
And the music they play whenever it's him. Dun,
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
You know, just
it's
like
the
really
March of the Villains.
He's like, I'm about to fuck some shit up.
So Miss Teschmacher is pretending like she's in a wreck. And so
the way she's laying there, completely unharmed. No scratch, no blood. Perfectly positioned, like she just took a shower.
Yeah.
I was
and
like,
the army,
and they all rush out, dude. Not just one or two; the whole platoon gets out.
Yeah, the whole everybody, and the sergeant or whoever sees her. Do you recognize that guy at all? He was only on screen for just a brief second. He's the guy in I Dream of Jeannie. His name is Larry Hagman, and they had this whole
the original I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah. Right? Exactly. With Barbara Eden.
I don't know why I was gonna say Lucy Moore. Is that even a person?
I'm sure Lucy Moore exists. I'm sure that there's out there somewhere a person named Lucy Moore. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, man, about the about face thing. Whenever he tells everyone to all of his men to about face. Now, let me just say that's wrong. That's wrong.
I may be woke because the whole time I was like, he's like sexually assaulting her, and like nobody's doing anything.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's pretty much what he's doing, like
it is, and it's supposed to be funny. But that was an extended scene, man. I think that that there was part of that that it had been drawn out, and he had been on there for more than just this little scene. But like we said, we're how far into the film? Like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
And
at least.
they're just like,
Actually, like an hour and 45, 50 minutes, man.
oh
Yeah,
yes,
it's
something's gotta happen. We gotta get this shit along. And there'll be more that I have written down and I will tell you later. So anyway, about that. I'll tell you more about maybe this wasn't supposed to go on as long as it did. So anyway, yeah, Lex shows up about 5 minutes later, and I like how everyone's like, "What the hell?" Like, how did you get here in the middle of nowhere?
in the ambulance.
He's like,
"So, somebody hurt?"
yes,
Like, right? There's no protocol. He just gets out and asks the question. Like even then, nobody was like, who called 911? Actually, we were all huddled around.
They do all this stuff, and we see Otis. He's trying to do all this stuff. If you look, there are 4 knobs. And Otis pulls up his sleeve and he has the numbers written on his arm. And so he's trying to set them. And then they take off. They're waiting on him, and Otis runs down the hill. He's laughing. And he's like, I got it.
Did something good.
I got it.
I did this for you, sir. So happy he accomplished something without fucking it up. Right?
On the first one, I did 117, or whatever. And he's
whatever
like,
numbers. Yeah.
On the third one, 11, and the fourth one, 7. No, he's like, a third one, 117. He's like, well, what about the fourth one? He's like, what fourth one? He's like, whoa, wait, hang on, just a minute.
This is what you were supposed. You had one job.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 numbers into these spots.
There's an extended scene here where he beats the shit out of him, and they're kind of hanging out of the
oh, that's right. Yeah. I didn't see that part. I just saw where he gets pissed and he jumps up as the van is moving to go kick his ass or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we just go to their so what's happening, just in case you don't remember, in the beginning of the film, Lex said, hey, there are 2 missiles that are about to be launched, and we're about to be involved in the greatest real estate swindle of all time. So
I did catch that, because that's the whole reason the missiles are launching, is so he can make money off having good real estate.
But there's a part of it that comes up later, and we'll get to it, LJ. What happens is if Otis fucks up this first missile, what was supposed to happen with it originally? Why did he need 2?
Because he needed to create the diversion, right, or distraction, so one would kill a bunch of people.
When he originally came up with the plan, Superman wasn't around. So why did he need 2? So we don't have to get to it. Maybe I don't know. What do you think?
That's true, because I thought he created the plan because of Superman.
Well, no, because he said it before Superman was even around. Like whenever we're meeting him that night, he said it before Superman was even around. Anyway, it's just convenient. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that's ever been addressed. Maybe someone will let me know in the comments.
Maybe.
Yeah. So then they're just at it again. They're just going to get the second missile. So here we are. We're just going to get the second missile. And so if you notice in this scene, Lotus has a black eye.
He does. Yes. He does. When he punched him in the van.
We punched him in the van. So
down by the river.
Yeah. So they're just at this other one, and Miss Teschmacher is just climbing up the bridge, and this was a dangerous shot for them to get, because if you look, it's real.
Hell, it is real. Yeah, that is it's hundreds of feet in the air. It's an actual bridge, and if something happened, you fell and you would be dead.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't come back from that. But you know what? Did you notice that obviously it wasn't her? It was a stunt double, right? And that the stunt double, it looked like a man. It didn't look like a female. It looked like a guy. He looked like a man.
It was a man. I mean,
right?
It was a man.
But it could have been a woman, but it looked like a man. I don't know.
for sure. No, it was a man in a wig. It was a man in a wig, LJ. So
And at first, so you know what was funny? Because I thought he was gonna go back and fix the rocket, but I guess not. I guess they fixed it some other way. So this was the second
no,
one, right?
no, because the other one, Otis messed up.
So that oh, I
He,
thought they see. Wait, no, is this the?
this
That's
is the
right.
second one.
I thought it was the first one. I don't know,
No,
and then I didn't even think about the
because it's
second
like
one.
this is the Navy now. He's like, no,
I
you're
thought they
talking to a naval officer.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, dude, I did not put that together. I did wonder though. I'm like, man,
Mhm.
they got a new rig and they got dressed fast to go to go
Yeah,
because I thought that's what they did when they stopped the
no,
first one to fix it. And he was
they
like, well, I can't send Otis in because he's gonna fuck it up, but I'll send in Miss Tessmacher.
Lex. If you look at the costumes, Lex
Yeah, they're
changed. I
different.
think Otis is wearing the same thing, but Miss Teschmacher is wearing the same dress that
Yep.
she was whenever they had the wreck, meaning that they immediately came from there.
Yep.
And
Man, that's
so,
cool. That is cool.
but if he was going to take them both over and one left, what? And one missile made the San Andreas fall into the. I don't know, LJ. We'll get to it. Help me out. Help me out.
Okay.
So anyway, I love how there's a cut whenever you see Miss Teschmacher. One minor thing about this film or this scene, you hear a "shut up" in the
That's
background.
the bag, yeah.
It's little things like that that I love. All right. Oh my God. Exposition LJ. I'm sorry. Exposition LJ. Exposition. Hoover Dam. Jimmy's taking pics.
Yeah.
Lois is talking with a Native American chief. All of this was supposed to be longer. Like this, I guess they intended this movie to be like 4 hours long. So
That would have been cool though, because you do
yeah.
want, sometimes when you watch a movie, you wonder if it could have been just a little longer, or
Well, there's
I don't know, two and
extended
a,
cuts of this,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
but it doesn't flow better, I don't think. That's debatable. A lot of people will say that, but it's like
Yeah.
it is split into three equal parts, where it's not equal, but where it's just kind of like, hey, all right, now we got to get the story going on. So,
Well, yeah,
and
but the technique had to have been created at some point. I think this was one of those movies that created a lot of techniques
yeah,
like Avatar, like Star Wars. They
yeah,
came up with things that at the time didn't exist in
yeah,
filmmaking.
oh
They
yeah,
made it work. So that's part of it too. I think is this a lot of this was experimenting and it worked.
yeah.
Could it have been put together better now? I guess taking the same idea and putting it together. I mean, maybe, but
But
I
that's
mean,
hypothetical because it
it is
wouldn't be
because
the
nobody
same
you'll never
thing, man.
and you would never know. You would
Yeah,
never know.
yeah. Well, we're about to see LJ. I don't know if you know, but James Gunn has taken over DC, and he's just announced a Superman that's kind of like Superman.
Wait, like
All
no shit,
Star
like for
Superman.
real?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's
The
gonna be made in the near future?
Well, it'll be. They're saying it's going to be released in 2025. So
Yeah.
2 years from now. So that it's in pre-production. So this usually airs pretty relevantly. So I don't mind bringing up some current topics, and we'll bring
That's
up some
cool.
more in the future. Yeah, as some of this comes out, because I'll be excited to talk about new Superman news that's coming up here. So
Hell
anyway,
yeah, man.
yeah, maybe we'll even have a segment for it.
Yeah, well, we will.
Okay, so Lois is talking with the Native American chief, and like I said, that was supposed to be an extended scene where, later on when Superman comes and he eventually fixes the dam and gives them water at the end. It was a big thing.
Okay,
That
okay.
was what the original the piece was about, and it's talking about some guy coming in and buying up all of this property. who's worthless desert
Mhm.
land, and that's Lex, and that's foreshadowing for later on.
I see.
So just
Yeah.
yeah, it's well written here. It goes by fast, but it's well written. But back at the planet, Chief wants to see Clark, and Clark is passing. He's messing around with the paperclip while Chief is talking to him.
That's right.
Chief is telling him everything that's going on. He's like, "Hey, they're both out there. I sent them both together." Uh, over, with his super hearing, he hears Lex. I guess Lex just knows that he
Dude,
can.
when I when I first heard that, because I had my headphones in when I was watching it,
Yeah, you had to take it out.
I it well, yeah, because it was loud, and I was like, wait, is that in the movie or is that
Yeah,
no, it's in the movie. Like I had to think about that for a second because I was like, what the hell's going on?
it's really good.
It is, but
Yeah.
I wonder how he figured out how to do that. I mean, I'm sure. Oh well, I mean, did he say during the interview that he had super
Who
hearing?
knows what all he said? What he said in the movie, what he tells her in the movie, doesn't match the length of the words. That's, of course, she had to elaborate and stuff like this, but
Yeah.
uh, I guess Lex just assumed. Lex is a good at assuming.
200 IQ.
Yeah, he
Well,
just figured it
he
out.
figured it
He's
out.
like, well, if he can see, if he can, maybe he can hear too. So anyway, Lex comes in over with his super hearing, and I love how Clark is trying to find a place out, and this was before they started putting bars over all these high top windows and everything. And this is probably why, because he just
Jumps the
opens up
fuck
the
out.
curtains and just jumps out. They're all full windows, like someone could just trip and fall through them.
No
And
shit.
so anyway, he's falling down, and if you
No,
look, his only his top changes. He keeps the
the
slacks
bottoms.
and dress shoes
I did
just
not
in that quick
realize
cut.
that. No. Oh yeah, yeah. That was a pretty cool transition,
Yeah,
but it went real fast, right? Because they and then you saw him now and then in a suit the next time you see him.
yeah. Oh, Lex says he's got a propane lithium compound. That's what it is.
That's right.
And before he jumps out, Perry's like, "Where'd he get that suit? Is it made? Is it silk? Is it plastic? You know?"
And that flight, that flight scene
Yes,
was really cool.
I
You
love these
know,
shots.
yeah, and then like it almost makes you like because whenever I watched it, like the parts that it gets real intense where he's really fixing to go save somebody,
Hmm.
and I don't know, you're kind of pumped up. You're like, fuck yeah, because he's like a
Yeah,
superhero and he's like gonna go save somebody. That's what I
yeah.
was feeling the whole time I was watching it.
No, that's it, man.
So that was
I
a really yeah, that scene was cool. Him flying, kind of getting adjusted and figuring out, okay, I'm gonna go find this dude now.
Yeah, and that's a lot of that is just front projection, how we were talking about, like in blue screen, and they thought to make, because they filmed him normal size, and he was flying, and they're like, okay, now pretend like you're banking this way, and you're gonna go behind the building, and we're gonna come, and he's like, okay, come up, and now
Yeah,
you're at the camera, and you look and you see him, and then we're gonna take him down, and he's just kind of doing this,
floating.
staying,
Yeah. And that's why I think some of the scenes where he turns, it looks kind of awkward. It doesn't look natural, right?
yeah,
And I think it might be where, they're like, "Oh, bank like you're going to the right over the building." Well, how would you act
yes,
if
and
you were just listening to somebody give you directions? It would look awkward.
some of that, but also you get some of those shots where he's coming up and turning and banking on Hoover Dam, and that's just incredible.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. On the flip
You
side,
know,
there are really good scenes where he's doing perfect, right? Because it really look
yeah,
because you know what? Initially, whenever he first got up after he jumps out the window, that
yeah,
scene where he's going up,
yeah.
and you
You
see the
can see its
buildings in the
arms move.
background.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that was a really cool shot. It looks real.
yeah,
It really does look like he's flying up into the city. So they did
yeah.
a really good job in some parts of it.
Oh yeah, they really did. I mean, there are just some parts, man, like that the scene in the Fortress of Solitude where he banks, he was just on wires flat, and I guess he picked himself up so he could turn like this and flew that way around the camera.
I see.
And what
Yeah,
they
because it's almost like you're
say,
trying to bend your body to get back out. It's
yeah,
you
and
said
going
what
around
and what they
camera like
say.
that.
Yeah, and you
Well,
said they say what?
they've said that that wasn't supposed to happen. That he did that on his own. He was just supposed
Hmm.
to fly by the camera, but because Christopher Reeve, of course, was and a lot of this stuff is well known, and we're not going to cover absolutely everything. There's no way.
We
So,
could.
no,
We could take it section by section.
no, we've got everything. We're covered. He was a pilot, and so he kind of knew how to fly, man.
Ooh,
Christopher Reeve.
no shit.
Yeah, and so like whenever he got this, he kind of told the people that Richard Donner, I guess, should.
He's like, "This is how we're gonna do it, motherfucker." All right. He's like, I got my pilot's license."
Yeah, front projection, and when he comes and he lands right there, and you see him get smaller, and then he lands, and it cuts to him coming down, and he's on the set, and he's like, "Everybody, get out of the way, okay? Get out of the way." And he drills down.
Dude, that scene when he lands,
Yeah,
because I completely forgot about that. There was a few parts I'm like, I don't even remember this.
yeah,
Like what he was.
yeah.
So he lands and he's like, "Get back, everybody. It's okay. There's nothing to worry about." I thought he was gonna say, "You need to evacuate the city because there's gonna be gas coming through the vents." That's what I thought was gonna happen. And then he's like, "It's like get back." And then he just spins and then drills into the earth. He doesn't try to cover it. Like there might be people walking. What if a kid fell in there?
Well, he assumes that people would do the right thing, but he's not going to create, to quote the movie earlier, a climate of fear and panic among the populace.
Sure that he's just like, stand back. I'm gonna
He's
create
like,
a hole. Don't fall through
I
it.
got this, folks. Y'all just
Don't,
hang on.
don't,
So he's like,
don't
don't
fall
worry
through the
about it.
hole.
Okay, everything's okay. Y'all don't worry about it. Everything's fine. It's me. It's Superman. Yes, yes, I'm awesome. I know it. I'm about to dig into the ground. Check this shit out. Watch it.
Dude,
Oh
that
god.
was really cool. That because I completely forgot about that, and I was like, "Holy shit!" He's digging to get to the layer. At first I thought he's gonna get to the vents. I don't know why I thought I was gonna get the, and then I was like, "Wait, no, 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 he wouldn't be doing that. He's gonna go see Lex Luthor."
Yeah. He just
Mr.
goes to where
Luthor.
the sound is coming from, and he's just like, okay, this is where it's coming from. And he just looks down and just goes straight down. This this is a longer cut scene. There's a cut scene here of when he lands and then he pushes his cape back and then he opens the door, right? He pushes the door
He does.
into Lex's lair. There's a longer cut scene, LJ, where oh my god bless you. He's sneezing, folks,
Thank
but
you.
he's skilled enough to cover up his mic. It's amazing. Good job,
You
dude.
can't hear anything.
Can't hear anything. Or I edited it out. Who knows? But anyway, like where it immediately shoots up fire, and I think that this is what you have seen this scene with me in the apartment years ago. Like because I had all the extended cuts and I thought we watched them, but it immediately and he's just walking through the fire and it's no big deal and it looks really good. And then he goes into this other room and the door seals off and it freezes him and he gets like all like a mound of snow and then he busts out and then there's like,
So it's like traps?
machine guns like traps.
No shit. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to see that one. I'd
Yeah.
like to see that scene. That seems
Yeah.
pretty. Looks pretty. It sounds pretty cool.
Well, maybe we'll do a watch along for the extended version or something. But the reason that was cut was one for time, but like they had already talked about how like Otis had even said fire and bullets can't harm this guy, but this stuff here will kill him. I love that scene where he conducts them. Like he's like, oh, they're about to get it. They're about to get it. Anyway,
Let me help him out.
so he pushes through the door, and Lex asks Otis to take the gentleman's cape. That's not going to work well for Otis. Uh, he just walks away, and he's like, I don't
Right.
think he wants me to, Mister Luthor.
Mr. Luthor.
We learn that the gas pellet is just a figment of Lex's mind, and he's like, "Is that what a warp brain does? Like warp brain like you does to get it kicks? To get is kicks." He says, "What a warp brain like yours does to get kicks," but it kind of sounds weird. Anyway, I'm not picking apart things. Please don't hate me. Uh, and he's like, by causing the death. He's like, by what does he say? God dang.
I
By
can't remember.
planning the death of innocent people.
I
There
know
it is.
he's pretty much just talking shit, be like, you're a crazy guy.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, by planning the death of innocent people. And Lex says no, by causing the death of innocent people. And then we see the rockets go off. Then we cut back to Lex in this wonderful overhead shot of the world and Lex's lair. And I love the detail that there are even cobwebs on the lamp. And
I didn't catch that. I mean, it just looks like a very wealthy person's home.
yeah,
You know?
every shot is planned. Like it's not they don't have someone who's up there dusting all the time, and they can't get
Mm-mm.
all the super high cobwebs in this stuff. So this is the part where Lex Luthor just gives away his entire plan on what he's gonna do. He's like, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if there was a missile that came and like landed at this particular point and the San Andreas fault? God, that'd be nuts. And think about what if somebody bought up all the land behind that? Oh my God. Can you imagine what they would call the things? If it were me, I'd call it Otis, Costa del Lex, Lutherville, Marina del Lex, Tessmacher Peaks, Otisburg,
Otisburg. Hell yeah.
Otisburg. Uh, it's wonderful, isn't it great? Isn't
It's
the
just
writing just? He's like,
the
now Superman, while I got you here, he's
let me
like,
just let you know what's
because
going
that's
on.
what happens. No, he pretends like he's like, hey, while I got you here, I there's really no gas pellet. While I got you in the house, can I run this by you?
That's it.
That's basically what happens. But the Otisburg thing, I love how Otis is just like, hey, come on. What did you think of the Otisburg little bit?
It was funny because
Yeah.
because he just kind of and when he goes down to erase it, the handwriting's all fucked up. I'm like, he could have wrote it in nicer than just quickly
Yep.
scribbles it on.
Yep. The
But I
S
was
is
like, you know what?
backwards.
Let him have his little segment, man. You treat him like shit. You could his little island that he wants to call his bill. Let him have it.
Nope. Nope. And
Couldn't
you got
even
to
give him
pause it.
that.
You got to pause it, and it's called Teschmacher Peaks. And it's just two little mountains, like, like, boobs. Boobs. I made a boob sign for those of you on the podcast. I'm sorry. You'll never see me make a boob sign again. It really looked like an
Basically,
M.
two upside down V's.
Yeah, two upside down V's. Lex says that it's target zero right here. And then we cut to Lois and Jimmy to set it up.
Right.
And like we talked about earlier, it really becomes a disaster movie right here. The missiles go up and they split, and the army and the navy doesn't know what to do. And
Dude, I know the kill switch doesn't work. It's yeah.
yeah,
And I'm like, of course, only the government would cause catastrophe like that.
and they're like, what do we do?
Only ones that have the capability. Right. They do it, they push the button and they don't know how to unpush it.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
If that's not our life in a nutshell, I don't know what is.
Well, it's Norm is there. Norm from Cheers. He's the bearded guy, and he's like, "Yeah, they're unresponsive, you know." And
I didn't know
side
he was
note,
from Cheers.
yeah, he's the postman in Cheers, I believe, the mailman. I believe that's what he is. But he's also in Superman 2, and he's an astronaut at that point. So he's made it up from he got fired from the missile thing, but
Yeah.
now he's working for NASA. So he's just going
Right.
up. So
He's
dude,
like, we figured out a way to go into space. Oh, well, you
yep.
can work for us
Ah,
now.
come on. Come on. He's like, I
They're
did
like, I
have that.
build rockets. He's like, I
Remember
built
that
rockets for the army. Why would you not want me?
remember that tiny little hiccup where Lex Luthor tried to make California fall into the middle of the earth? Well,
Yeah.
I was the one who pushed the button on that. So, but I
Yep.
was just doing my job.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
did you catch the guy wearing two pairs of glasses?
What? No, I did
Yeah.
not. While
He's
they
just,
were in that like war room looking place for the
yeah.
army, I did not know that.
They cut to him
I
for a
didn't
few
catch that.
seconds. He's just like, he's got one pair of glasses, but you can see another one behind them. And he's like, what in the hell? He's,
Oh, it's the
anyway,
older guy,
yeah.
the older general guy. I got you. I'll have to go
Uh,
back and watch that. I don't remember.
so now we're back in Lex's lair and they're going into the sitting room. I don't, why is Superman hanging out here this whole time?
Dude, I would have been like, I would have been out, like
It's
trying
like,
to find like where these missiles are at,
but he doesn't know it's
ah,
happening right now.
or at least shake them up for it, like pick them up like he did eventually, like that, and be like, where are these warheads? And then when he doesn't answer, just throw them and then go and
But
find
at
them
this
myself.
point in the plot line, LJ, he doesn't know that this is really happening. This is where he tells him. And he's like, good job. See, he covered up a cough. I don't even have to edit it out. I said something. Now I got to edit that out, but that's okay. Don't even worry about it, LJ. It's just like so he dismisses Otis into the viewing room and he's like, okay, Otis going to the viewing room. It's history, it's happening. He calls Miss Teschmacher in there, he screams at her. What do you think of the scream? He's screaming
Wait,
his
he
lungs
screams
out.
it?
Yeah, he screams at her multiple times. He's all Miss Teschmacher.
Oh, you mean like this is after or before he puts the necklace on him?
Oh, this is before. This
Is
is
it
before.
before?
Yeah.
Well, he
So
always screams her name, so I guess I didn't
yeah.
think twice about it because he's always like, "Mr. Smucker, like, where the hell you at, girl? Like, I need you around, and you're never around." So I guess I didn't pay too much attention to it at the
She
beginning.
comes in and spoils it. He asks her, where's the rocket now? And she says, it's going like a bat over the Grand Canyon. So's the other one.
That's
And
right.
she's like, the other one. And Superman is like, the other one. There's two of
There's
them.
there's
That's
9
where
of
he
them.
realizes that it's happening. Because he says it's happening. He
Oh,
Lex
that's
tells
right.
him,
That's
he's
right.
like,
Because
no,
that's when
this
he,
is not.
yeah, that's when he realizes, like, oh shit, like this is really happening right now.
Yeah.
This isn't just a plan. Like,
Yeah.
why would you be telling me your plan
And that's the thing. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
stop me?
Why would he be telling? Yeah.
He's like, bitch,
So
it's already on. It's already going on, man. You can't stop
Lex
it
tell
now. It
he
already
can't,
happened.
but he can with the detonator. With the detonator. And
That's
so
right. Where is the detonator,
yeah,
Luthor or
that
Lex?
that was a great scene where he lifts him up.
Yeah,
But
just picks him up.
we see
I'd have
his
been like,
X-ray vision for the first time.
yep, and how he does that. That was pretty cool. The way,
Yep.
yeah, because he's looking for the detonator,
Yep.
and then this is where he opens up the, I don't know what it was, a chest or something with
It was
the
a chest.
the
And
kryptonite,
yeah, the kryptonite was in it.
the
And
evil green.
to tie this back to our name, K the box that the
Well,
kryptonite is kept in is
before we do that, oh wait, what? Oh yeah, no, go ahead. The box that the kryptonite is
the
in.
box that the kryptonite is kept in is the box that Luke Skywalker first gets his lightsaber from Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars A New Hope, which we're going to cover soon. So
What the hell?
ties
No
it back
way.
because they were both being filmed at the same studio at the same time.
Wait,
or sometime after. After, I'm sorry.
that is crazy. I did not know that.
Sometime after or before, LJ. Star Wars was being filmed sometime after or before
Hmm.
Superman, the movie.
Guess that would make sense. It was about that time.
Yeah, it's about that time. So
He opens the chest.
Lex told him not to.
Well, he did. And then the green glow, the green goblin of rocks.
And did you catch that we heard you're a music person, you're a trumpet person, you're a trumpet player.
No, I'm
Did
not,
you
dude. Don't tell
no
people I play that. No.
but did you catch that we
Well, I
got
don't play it, but I did
a
high school
callback
20
to
years ago.
the Krypton theme?
Yeah. Yeah, because and that was a cool way to tie it back too, because
Mm-hmm.
every time you see the glow, the green glow, I kind of have a feeling that's probably going to be the music, the theme,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no,
It's
that's
like, oh my gosh, he's taking
from
my
my home
energy.
world. My home world is because you think of the home world the first time you hear it is really this majestic theme.
Yeah,
But
you
then
know
when you
what?
hear it
That's true,
used in
yo.
this way, it
It's
becomes a
evil.
really kind of an evil kind of you
Yeah. So
know,
why? You know what? Why though? That is true.
it's just how it's used in the film. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, because a comet followed him. The
Yeah.
the the Krypton rock followed him. Bastards.
Mind over muscle.
Yeah.
But Soups, what is that? What I've written here? But Soups gets him. Oh, but Soups gets him to tell him where the other missile is headed. At least he gets that part out of him. He's like, he tricks Lex, and mind over muscle. Lex says, and he's like, Psh, you don't even know where the other missile's headed. And Lex is like, I know where it's headed, dude. You what kind of genius would I be if I didn't know? Of course, it's going to Hackensack, New Jersey, you fool. You're never gonna get out of this. You know, that's pretty much what happens. He throws
Yep.
him in the pool, uh, but we find out that Miss Teschmacher's mom lives in Hackensack, New Jersey. Isn't that
That's
convenient?
right. Yeah, dude, that's jacked up too, man. Because I kind of figured he knew that.
All right, so
You
now
know
we're
what?
going back to the missile
Wait,
theory that I was talking about earlier. If that
wait,
was an accident, you all right?
wait. It's that glowed. Is that
Oh my
kryptonite?
god! For those on the podcast, he's got a his lamp behind him has changed into a green. Oh my god,
I found
that's
fucking
really
kryptonite.
it. Did that looks like a bottle cap, but that's okay.
Yep, it's a
Is
bottle
that
cap
from a Sprite or what kind of beverage is that
from
from?
water.
From water. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. We won't say the kind. It's
Mm.
beep.
Straight vodka in here, yo. It's not water.
If the missile was an accident by Otis, we always know he had one that was going to go to Hacken that was going to go to
The fault.
the fault. That's been the plan from the beginning because he's
Well,
bought
yeah,
all
because
this
without
land.
that, he can't write. Because without
But
that, he
this
makes no
other one
money.
conveniently goes to the place that Miss Teschmacher's mom lives at.
He knew that.
And it wasn't really that many numbers off. It was just the first two numbers were the same. The other one was 11 and the fourth one 7. They weren't really that far off. So why would there be that much difference? I have no idea. These are things that I've been wondering. But it's
Hmm.
suspension of disbelief, LJ. It's suspension of disbelief.
But that's the whole reason we're here, because I love talking about this. I like to
Yeah.
break the film down, and because when you watch it, you're like, I wonder how they did that, or
Yeah.
that's cool. I bet they did this, or they used this technique, or sometimes Chloe will ask me, I wonder how they did that. I'm like, baby, that's probably CGI, right? Nowadays, it's a
Nowadays.
computer. So he figures out, right, wait, here's two, and one's going to Hackensack, New Jersey. That's the first
Okay,
one we
yeah,
left
yeah.
out.
And Miss Teschmacher, she just ends up saving him. Let's just not beat around the bush. She ends up saving
Yeah.
him. So she pulls him out of the water, or out of the swimming pool, pulls the kryptonite off of him and throws it into the back, and then it falls down a drain. I want to know where that kryptonite is.
Dude,
It could have come into play later on down in another movie, but it never does. Okay, but I want to bring up
Kryptonite's gone forever.
she kisses him
Yeah.
in this scene before she removes the kryptonite. Now, we were talking about the scene earlier with with Miss Teschmacher. So she kisses Superman
Yeah.
Now, isn't
Is
is
it
that
still?
is that the same thing?
Oh shit! You know what?
I
I
thought
guess I don't know. That
he's
that's
unconscious.
true
He
because
is
initially,
unconscious.
because initially, yeah, that's true. You know what, man? And why did I not think of that? Why did I think of the other scene as a problem, but not this one?
I don't know.
You
I
know?
just thought about that because
But that's true, and
I
I guess
just
it's how I guess you were raised in your line of thinking. You're trying to change that, but that is true because I thought, oh, I didn't even think about it being a big deal at all, you
right.
know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just a harmless kiss, but you know what? At the same time, that's like hey, he didn't.
He's
That's
under the influence of
mm-hmm,
kryptonite, something that's killing him. And she takes
yeah.
the time to kiss him.
It's like just
And
gonna make out with this guy, and you know what though? That's wrong too, though.
yeah,
That is wrong.
it is wrong.
That's wrong.
It is wrong. Thank you.
It's crazy though to think
Uh
that we didn't think of. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, he flies out. The way that he flies out is just so cool where he flies up towards the
Dude,
camera,
I know.
you know,
And you know
like
what? He busts through the ceiling
yeah.
and Miss Tessmacher's down at the bottom. I was getting hit with like boulders.
He's like, you
Could have
better get
killed
out
her.
of here. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And she's like, should I move quickly? Or he's like,
No, I'll just if you she's not in any hurry. She's not
no,
in any
she's no sense
hurry.
of urgency.
And later on we find out she doesn't even leave. So we'll get into that. So oh my gosh. Okay. So anyway, he bursts through and his hair is just is fixed. Again, amazing flying shots with the front and rear projection stuff where he gets real small on the screen as he's in the chasing rockets scene where he's doing all
Dude,
this.
that was cool. I was like, yeah, get that rocket. And he
Yeah.
comes up right behind it. And the whole time I was thinking anybody would just instantly evaporate behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
For
he's like,
sure.
I'm gonna grab this. It's almost like it's just within reach. And he's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
pulls it toward him.
He
All
does.
right.
But before
Yeah,
that,
that was cool.
before he actually catches it, there's a few things that we've got to set up here. We see that Lois runs out of gas in front of a gas station,
Yep.
and that Jimmy is at the most dangerous point in the Hoover Dam.
Hanging on for dear life, fixing to fall.
Meanwhile, Superman is chasing those
Oh.
rockets. He's trying to get them. He flies over some farmers.
No, that was cool. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. That scene that was the worst green screen shot in the film. I don't know if it's the
It
worst, but that's the one that stands out. The one with the farmers, and they're all like, "My God, what the
yeah,
hell?
you can
It's
you,
some Superman, some chasing
it's some
goddamn
bitch.
rocket." You want to
Some
talk
bitch.
about being
We're trying to fix
evaporated?
this.
They would be evaporated if they were that close, but we don't know how close they were. We don't
But
know how
damn, they
close.
were close. But you're right. You know what? You're right. It was a cool scene, but yeah,
The
the
effect.
graphics were
And
the
I'm
effects
not
weren't
picking
quite
apart
there.
effects, but I'm
Yeah.
forgiving because this is my favorite movie. So, but still, that one I just can't let it. I can't let it go.
You're like, oh well, you know what? What'd you think about that scene? Oh, it was great. Well, that
Yeah.
scene sucked.
Well, that seems like.
The graphics are terrible.
Man. I have
Damn, that
something
was
written in
funny.
here. Oh yeah, deleted scene. There, because this chasing rocket scene was a lot longer. There's because they talk about it had these rockets have like evasive maneuvers because it's like, well, why couldn't he
Mm,
just get out in front of it and stop it? And so earlier you see that he does, and it kind of learns from that, and he can't really get out ahead of it. They cut some of this down
yeah,
for
yeah.
time. But anyway, he finally catches it. Like you said, he gets up and it would evaporate to normal man, and he pushes it up, and Lex knows it.
Or maybe,
Uh,
or maybe, maybe not evaporated, but maybe
well,
vaporized would be a better word.
disintegrated. It would have they would have been no longer with us
We would
on
have.
this plane of existence.
It would have turned into matter.
Yeah. And he pushes it up, and Lex knows. Lex is watching his little black and white or his little red, green, and blue projection screen of this map. He's just hanging
Right.
out. It's like he's watching a sitcom. I wish he would have had popcorn or something. He's like,
Right. That would have been
chilling.
funny.
And
Yeah.
he's just like watching this, and he sees the rocket go up towards Canada, and then he's like, oh, okay, well, something must be going on. Miss Tessmacher's not around, so she did it.
All right.
And we see Superman push the rocket into space. It's a cool
As
shot. He gets it,
I
and
know he just casually pushes it away. It just keeps taking off, dude.
and this is where the first movie was supposed to end.
What?
So he
That
was
I mean,
he was supposed to get back. He was supposed to get back, like he was supposed to push the rocket ship out. Just remind me at the end of this movie to talk about the end of this movie. That's one thing I'm
okay.
gonna. So
Remind you at the
he-
end of this movie to talk about the end of this movie.
yeah. So he pushes the rockets out, and it was supposed to go towards the
China.
Phantom Zone that housed the villains at the
Oh.
beginning of the movie.
So he did. He pushed it towards it on accident. I'm sure he did.
And it was supposed to explode, and they were supposed to get out, and it was supposed to say Superman to be continued.
Whoa, that would have been cool.
Yeah,
I would have actually liked that better than the current ending.
because
To be honest, because
that ending, we'll just talk about it. That ending that where him turning the world back was supposed to happen at the end of Superman 2, where he was supposed to turn the world back. But they had the halt budget anyway, and so that's why they anyway.
I would have really liked that better.
Yeah.
Than
So
the way it ended originally. Okay, go ahead.
He pushes it out. He looks back. He sees the thing explode on Lois. He, just all of that. He flies back towards Earth. We follow the rocket, and then we see the, and it's coming, and then they're like, my God, oh, yeah, man, they've all thrown up. They should be all covered in vomit.
Dude, I'm just that over and over and over and over again.
So, and it was supposed to bust
Shit,
them
that's
out, and they were
hilarious.
supposed to say free. And we'll talk about that with the Donner cut of Superman 2, which kind of picks up
Which
how the first
is
one
your
was supposed to
favorite
leave.
Superman movie.
This one really is, but but I like Superman 2 as well. I like all of them. So he flies to Earth and does all the San Andreas fault stuff. What do you think about that?
When he first flew into the ground, I don't know what he was. Honestly didn't know what the hell he was going to do, because this was another part of the movie that I did not remember as I was watching it, and he just kept going and going. Like he went, it seemed like for miles into the earth, and then all of a sudden, I was like, "What is he? How is he going to do this? How is he going to pull? Is he going to stick his hands through there, like pull it back together, or what?" But he's just pushing up, and the rest of the plates is like just fixes itself.
Of course, we know that it's going back and it's going in reverse. But
yeah. No, that is true. Yeah, because I was like, they just played, they filmed it, and then they just rewinded it really fast, and yeah. But it was really cool. It was
it's
really
the tectonic
cool
plates.
Yeah. Oh, that's what he's pushing on.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I thought he was just pushing on a big rock he found under the earth.
In reality, he's pushing on tinfoil, big things of tinfoil.
That would
and
make
it's
sense.
all lit red. That's how they filmed that. But that's what Lex says, is because that's what California is the joining together of two land masses. It's unstable. That's why you get earthquakes. If I just did this bomb, this would fall off and just my shit
Take
would
over.
be right there. If I bought all this, So
I wonder if we could do that.
Well, let's not talk about that. Just in case there's someone in the FBI watching this.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I loved it. It's tinfoil. It's lit red. I just thought it was great. Lois's gas station blows up. Uh, a lot of shit happens really quickly, and this is where it really becomes a disaster film. LJ, it's like the Golden Gate Bridge scene happens. It's disastrous. We cut to people in the Amtrak train who are seeing the rocks go down. The school bus gets hit back on the Golden Gate Bridge, and will they make it? And at this point, he's lifting the tectonic plates and trying to push them back into place, and he saves.
Yeah, that the bridge, the golden
Yeah,
gate bridge scene. I thought I initially I was like, okay, this is classic, right?
yep,
Or it seems like a classic scene because you
yep,
see this in very similar, at least very similar scenes like this in movies today.
yeah.
Using the Golden State Bridge to,
Our Golden
and
Gate.
then a Golden Gate Bridge
Yeah,
to, cause it to fall over or crack or
right.
whatever. Yeah. And then, of course, saving the kids with in the bus that
Yeah.
coming home from a field trip or a game or whatever.
No, it's like earthquake or something, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's just something like that going on. They use a lot of techniques of shaking the camera and things like that around there that are similar to those films. So okay, so this is where he saves the Amtrak train after he saved the school bus. That's like
Yep.
combination of
Yeah,
yeah,
that was cool. Where he's like, it's funny because he's laying on the track like this in his
yeah,
arm. He's like, shit.
yep. He just lays
I
the other
gotta
one up.
I gotta fix this. I'm gonna hold this one up and I'm gonna let the train go over me.
And there's shots there behind the scenes things of where he's pointing it out, and you can see like if they were to cut right here, his hand, and it's just going up behind the background or whatever, and you can see with the technique that they really did while they filmed it because they were kind of filming some behind the scenes stuff so they could document everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we may do another bonus episode about Superman the movie, talking about all of the effects and the front projection, kind of how they
Yeah,
came
yeah.
up with that. So anyway, if you can believe it, there are cracks in the dam that happens where Jimmy's staying at. And then we cut all of this again is just quick cutting
Yep.
to a power plant scene, and they're both happening at the same time,
He's
and it's
like,
like
I'm done with the
again,
bridge. I'm gonna
yep,
fly over to the Hoover Dam. I'm gonna save
yep.
Jimmy. I'm gonna fly over and save Lois.
And this is that one shot where he turns and he banks towards the camera and he flies towards the Hoover Dam that I think is just one of the best shots ever,
It
you
is,
know?
man. It's really cool. And he's like, I got you.
Yep. And he
Right
gets
before he
Jimmy
falls.
because they had to make the suit a little bit lighter blue for some of the green screen stuff. So it was kind of a little more greenish.
Oh,
And so,
I haven't really paid attention to that. No.
and then they had to kind of color correct it later. But anyway, yeah,
Hmm.
he saves Jimmy. Oh yeah, he just drops him off. And does he hear? He's like, Miss Lane will be by any minute. Does he think? Let me ask you this: does he think, okay, Lois is just going to come by and get him, or does he think, oh, Lois is here too? I need to worry about where she is, and
The latter.
or do you think he doesn't hear her?
No, no, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, now he's gonna go find Lois because he knows
But he
now that
doesn't,
she's somewhere around.
and
No, he doesn't.
or no, not at this point. Because remember,
Oh
Lois
shit.
gets, yeah. I mean, or does he think
Well,
that, you know,
well, then shit. Then he's probably just like, I'm gonna go get Lois. He hears something. He
yeah,
hears her.
he hears Jimmy say, Miss Lane will be by any minute. And so what I'm saying is, does he say, does Superman not register that? Or does he think, well, then she'll be by to get Jimmy and they'll both be safe?
Oh no, no,
Because he
no. I thought
doesn't think about her.
no. He does because that's who he goes after
Not until
next.
the very end, not after
What
he
does he do
saves.
next?
Okay, well, we'll get there. I'll tell you what
Oh,
he does.
okay.
So Lois runs out of gas, and the
Right.
earth starts to crack behind her, and her car falls into the earth, and all of this dirt gets started to fall on her.
Come through. Yeah.
Yeah, and they shot all this on a sound stage, and that's really Margot getting dirt thrown on her, and it was probably
Damn.
pretty rough. You can see a band-aid on one of her hands. It's just they got a shot, and she's not wearing the band-aid later, so it was probably
Hmm.
from really getting shit dropped on her.
Yeah. Probably.
Um, Anyway, he's going to save the rest of the village from the earthquake, is what's going on. And he
What's
flies
it's the
towards
Hoover
the
Dam,
camera.
right?
Yeah, because the Hoover Dam has burst.
Yep.
And so he's going to save that village. And they have all these wonderful shots of miniatures that they used back in the day. Little you can tell that they're
You
little.
could tell. You could tell they're
Could
little.
you tell whenever you
Yeah.
watched it? You were like, is this
You could
Mr. Rogers'
definitely,
neighborhood?
you could definitely tell the electrical poles too are freaking
Oh
miniature.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But it was cool, dude. It was a cool scene. They did a really good job with that.
He flies up and he pushes the rocks off, and he creates his own little dam. Damn
Yep.
what? And they use forced perspective in that shot. Like if he were really kind of far away, and they had something real close to the camera, and they pushed it off, and it just looked
Yeah.
like he pushed it. That's what
That's
happened.
cool.
Yeah, but it's end editing and splicing
Yeah.
film, and that's just wonderful, ingenuitive things like that.
Yeah. It was cool that they did it that way.
Yeah. So then he
I guess it was
realizes,
be the only way to do it. To make it look like that.
yeah, well, I guess you could paint. I don't know how you could do it, but I think they did it where it looks fantastic. But we get all these wonderful shots of the rocks falling, him pushing the rock down, and all of the things falling to create the dam. Cut with Lois on the other side, and she's in the pit, and all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
rocks are
yeah.
falling with her. And this is what I don't understand. Did he forget that Lois was there, or did he think she would be okay? And then this is the point that he hears her.
Okay. Yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
that
That I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
what
I
do you
guess it
think?
would. I guess maybe now thinking about it, he didn't think about it because he was like, "Well, shit, I got to go stop this dam," and maybe he just happened to be there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it zooms on his face, and I think he says Lois. He's like Lois or something, but they cut the
That
audio or
oh,
something.
you know what? Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does mouth that, and I thought that's what I thought that maybe there was an issue with the
And did
audio. They
they
cut the audio too early.
artistically keep that down where just the music is,
Yep,
because you see, and we're flying with him, and we're flying with him on his shoulders, and this has been pointed out that this is the one of the few times that we get to fly with him on his shoulders like this.
I see.
and
I see.
and then we see her, and we cut back to him, back to her, back to him, and then he lands, and he's too late.
Dude, I swear to God, I thought she was gonna come back to life because I didn't remember any part of this last bit of this last part of the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, sure, she's gonna fucking wake up. Of course, she's not gonna die, you know?
No.
And she's died.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, what the I
And
was like, how is
he
he gonna get out of this one?
it's great. So just a little bit of continuity. They had to match the dirt that they shot in another location with this dirt in the desert. So they had to fly some of
Yeah.
this in. So as he's flying up, you can kind of see around the car and around the area that they had to do the close-ups is a different type of dirt because they had to match it. You can go back and see it if you want.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that detail because I didn't catch that at
Yeah.
all.
Beautiful emotion by Chris as he lays her down gently, just very softly lays her down, careful not to drop her head. He gives her a kiss, and he feels that he's failed, and he flies off in anger, and we hear the voice of Jor-El
Yeah, as the voice of reason. He's
and
like,
the voice of Jonathan.
Wait.
Both of his fathers.
Oh, wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
you
not. I just caught Jarrell. I didn't catch his dad in the
his
his
dad's
second dad, his
his
raising dads.
he says all these things I can do, or he's like what, hang on.
I heard what he said, but I thought, wow, because I didn't catch that.
There's one thing I do know, son, and that is you are here for a reason.
Oh God, yes, that's what he says.
That's what he says. All
I
right.
thought it was Jarrell because I just saw Jarrell's face in the clouds the whole time.
You do, but I guess you also kind of see a little thing of Glenn Ford, I guess.
I just saw Marlon Brando.
Well, I saw Glenn Ford, but you see them both.
Hmm.
But you really don't see either of them. It's just kind of like a painting. Those because those aren't Marlon Brando's eyes, and they're not over California. Okay, so let's not do this. We don't want to get a copyright strike. And another wonderful thing of him flying in front projection, they're filming him from top, looking down. If this is him, this is his head. He's just
Okay.
standing on something, and they, you know,
God.
and they do it slow, just like that. And the background, sorry, I moved it out of the way. I've been doing good, dude.
That's the
The
second time.
background is not projected. It is the second time, or the background is projected.
So then he proceeds to spin around the earth at 1 billion miles an hour.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm back at the top. Yes, that's right. He does. I lost my place. So
I forgive you.
he so he's reversing time. That's right. But here's the question. Is he really reversing time? Or being that there he goes back just in time to save Lois, and there is in theory another Superman going on at the same time, continuing what he did and continuing the loop. Like if time were like this, he only went back to a little bit, and so there would be a little loop de loop.
Well,
Or
yeah, it was right before all that happened.
Or did he go back? Because he goes back and saves her right before she falls into the earth. So she's already made it past the gas station and everything, meaning has he saved everybody, or did he choose to save Lois over all those other people?
Yeah, we'll never know.
Or
But
we'll never know. We'll never know.
I would like to think that all of humanity benefited from that.
Yeah, I
And not
bet
just
he
one
made it.
person, you know?
That's the thing. It doesn't have to make sense. It's just that, hey, man, he figured it out. He did the right thing and he figured it out. He's not going to let her die. He's not going to let these people die. He figured it out. We don't have to see every little detail. But anyway, they were supposed to take
Yeah.
that scene, and that scene was supposed to be on Superman 2. So that's why they were like, okay, we'll just kill her. Okay. So she wasn't supposed to die. It was supposed to pick up as a cliffhanger, and we'll get
Man,
into that whenever we watch Superman 2, LJ.
I wish that they would have made it like that for real, because that sounds way cooler.
Well, then we'll pick up with the Donner cut at some point, and it picks up from right there. And it's just like you're just okay, now this is Superman 2. It's like, remember what happened when, anyway. So then we get the prison. And there's also a cut scene that shows
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, now it's time for you to go to jail.
You guys. Oh yeah,
You
what I
guys.
had where is there are scenes where he's on a platform and he lifts off like on a teeter-totter, and they just kind of lift him up off the ground when he just is kind of got to go. God damn it. I'm going to cut this part out. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. Teeter-totter bullshit. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right. Anyway, he's just on a teeter-totter, and they lifted him up when he
Can't
knows
cut
he
that
could go
part
up.
out. That was hilarious. Okay.
Whatever. So we see a scene where it's a deleted scene. Miss Teschmacher is still hanging out in Lex's lair, and Lex is about to drop her inside of some fucking alligators or something like this. And
I thought I was
anyway,
jacked up, dude. I was like,
but
what the
she was
hell?
still there. So anyway, back to the theatrical cut. They're flying in through the prison over and all this stuff, and he's got Lex and Otis, and he just drops them off, and we finally see Lex pull off his wig. And Gene Hackman probably had something in his contract that's like, I'm not wearing that. If I do, it's going to be for like 2 seconds.
So Gene Hackman for real was bald like that
No, no,
in
that
real
was
life?
a no, that was it was a wig. It was a
A cap
yeah, a
to
skull
cover his
cap.
hair, right?
Exactly.
It's crazy how they make that happen. So they don't have to like literally shave their head and
And he's like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna look ridiculous. And he's like, we're gonna make it look classy, okay, baby? Don't even worry about it. I mean, wearing these
gotcha.
lapels, you're gonna have wearing this ascot. I'm talking yellow and black, yellow with black polka dots, baby, or white, something, whatever it
Mhm.
is, you know.
And you know what? His suit though, his suit coming in was
Yep.
pretty freaking fly, man. I
Yeah.
I will say that he was going to prison in style, man.
And he
Look
even
at
says, you're messing up my suit. You can hear him as they're coming down. He's like, you're messing up my suit.
is that a $3,000 Armani suit right
It
there?
may be.
Shoot.
But I like Otis's reaction to Mr. Luthor pulling off his wig.
Yeah, he's like,
It's not
what
that
the hell?
exaggerated, but yeah,
Like he got scared. Like it
he's like,
it startled him.
that's
He's
funny,
like,
man.
damn.
Yeah.
In today's terms, I'd be like, damn.
And if you'll notice, Otis still has black eye.
Yep. Poor Otis. Didn't even get his fucking island.
And
Or his
didn't get
little
his
part.
island.
Not his island, but his
And
little,
he's
little
repeating
section.
after him. He's like, who is this? Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time. Of our time. I hereby serve notice. I serve
You
notice.
ever
You
noticed?
serve notice. He's serving notice to you here.
Shut up.
These walls here. Will you shut up, please? Can you imagine those two in actual prison?
My God. Yeah.
They gonna
No.
get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what did you do? Whenever you had Superman, you had kryptonite around his neck, and you threw him into your pool.
I know, right? We're gonna let him drown. Well, I guess he didn't care. He's killed people before.
Why didn't you shoot? You know, can you imagine? What if it's that pimp from the other scene where he's like, "Hey, Jim," he's like, "Shoot the motherfucker."
Shoot him.
Okay, so they land and Lex pulls off the thing, his wig. Hang on. And he's like, they take him away, and they're like, the warden says this country is safe again, Superman, thanks to you. And
He's
says,
like,
don't thank me.
no, don't thank me, Warden. I thank you for your service.
That's right. That's what he
Right.
says. No, he says we're all part of the same team. And he flies off out over the prison, and we cut to space. Now, this scene, LJ, this scene where he is flying out over in space is in every Superman movie that is in the Christopher Reeve vein movie, including Superman Returns, but it's recreated with Brandon Routh.
But
So,
and the same song plays too, like
yes,
the classic Superman.
but different.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
so cool how it comes in because it builds up to that.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
like,
great. And he
you feel
flies
proud.
around the earth and he comes back down and he flies towards the camera and he winks or he smiles. He looks at the camera and he smiles. There are different versions of it where there's one where he winks and his hands are different. He's holding them out, or
Yeah.
he's really exaggerating, and you know.
Yeah.
but there are different versions of it, and with some of the special features, we've been able to see all of them. So it's
You
really kind of
know,
cool, and they've
if
used
we didn't
all of
have
them. I'm sorry, go ahead.
if we didn't have our current national anthem, it would be that
It
song.
would be the Superman theme. You
It
know,
would.
this doesn't get a lot of recognition whenever John Williams plays. I'm just gonna say this. They always say Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jaws, and stuff like, and I'm like,
What?
this doesn't get a lot of.
Those theme songs compared to the Superman theme song?
Yeah, that's what I always see.
What? No, that's
So
bullshit.
yeah,
I'm here to
but
tell you that's bullshit.
it is bullshit. But all of the different versions, whether it be for Superman 2, 3, the Donner cut of Superman 2, and Superman 4, all of the ending scenes of him flying into space were shot by Richard Donner during this first movie. They've just recycled them to the other movies.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's cool though. Hey, you know what? But I mean, I guess that's smart, business wise, you're saving a little bit of money.
Well,
'Cause
I
that
guess
shit's
because they've never really had the budget that they really had for the first one. So
I guess, but I mean, the second and third one, you'd think that money'd start rolling in by that
yeah,
point, because it was pretty popular. Hmm.
yeah. You know what time it is, dude?
Yes, it's motherfucking trivia time.
Don't you know it's trivia
And
time? Don't you know it's trivia time? Trivia time, trivia time, trivia, trivia, trivia. Hey, trivia time, trivia time. Don't you know it's trivia time? Trivia time, trivia time, trivia, trivia, trivia time.
it's a
All
pretty
right.
badass song right there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to record it and I'm going to insert it someday. Insert it. So, anyway, LJ, did you know that Superman 1 and 2 were filmed back to back by Richard Donner? Originally, he had already filmed 70% of Superman 2 by the time that they finished filming Superman 1. And the decision was made to go ahead and focus on Superman 1 and just put our biggest budget effect at the end, and we will figure out how to come up with the ending for Superman 2 whenever we get there. We don't really know if this is going to be a hit, so let's put it out. And so that's whenever they changed the ending and had Lois Lane die and him
So
reverse time. And it was originally going to be to be continued, like we said, but they didn't know if it was really going to be successful, so they weren't really ready to put all their eggs in one basket, even though they had 75% of Superman 2 shot.
damn.
So
So they
whenever,
kind of, I'm sure they kind of had an idea. I mean,
yeah,
stuff. I mean, the stuff they did then wasn't even heard of. So even just with that alone, to make the movie, I'd be like, yeah, this is gonna be badass. Nobody's ever done this. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna show you how cool it looks.
and according to the producers, they wanted to have Richard Donner back, but he said, "Hey, if this one specific producer is there, and if y'all are going to be breathing down my neck all the time," because they didn't get along through this whole time, they were just like, "Hey, you're over budget and we're out of time. We need to finish this up." That's why they eventually decided just to, hey, let's just cut it and just see if we can make any money back with Superman 1. If I'm being honest, that's the way that it
And
sounds
so
like.
that's why they
So,
didn't take their time, and the ending could have been cooler.
yep. And so
Bastard
Richard
corporate
Donner was
people.
like, "I'm not coming back if this certain director is back." They're like, "Hey, we're not going to compromise." So they ended up bringing in, towards the end of production, they had brought in another director as kind of like a go between, just
Damn, that sucks,
and
man.
so they kind
It's because
of,
it's like he was so vested in that too, man. How different the outcome of the even the ending of the second movie would have been. So if he would have had a little bit more time, a little bit more money, the movie could have been even that much better.
mm-hmm, that's right, but there is a Donner cut of Superman 2, but we can talk about it whenever we get to it. It's not as complete because the effects weren't completed back in the day. So the digital effects that they used during our time cannot completely replicate those analog effects that they had or
Oh,
created and layered and layered and layered and layered and layered back in the day.
no, I mean, you probably could, but
LJ, you can't.
nobody.
What did I just say? What did I just say? I said you can't. I mean,
Well, I'm sure there's
no,
people smart enough
you
that
you know, you coming in here just at
probably
the end of
could.
this, you're just like, no, you probably could. Look, well, they haven't. They haven't. They spent all these dollars doing this, trying to do this, and they haven't done it. If they could really do it, show me the credits to Superman the movie. Someone out there, show me the credits that look like Superman the movie. You can't. You just can't. So let's let it
That's
be that little
that's
capsule in
that.
time. That's it. Just leave it alone. Stop trying to come up with something new. Okay, we have to respect this. This is what it is. We love this. This was a wonderful thing of all of our lives. But I mean,
It's classic.
it is a classic. But just cannot sit here and live in the past. There are other stories to be told. Even though we have a finite amount of this version of the character, we can accept the past and embrace the future. So I just don't know. I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox here, LJ. I'll get off my soapbox. So anyway, we're going on with trivia time. But that's very similar to how I told you the Donner cut or the Donner cut, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Do you remember earlier on in a few episodes back? I was like, yeah, there are two versions of Justice League. And you're like, yeah, with Ben Affleck. And I'm like, yeah, there are two versions of that movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
one version that's like 4 hours long and one version that's two. It's always funny because that's the second Superman movie. The first movie was Man of Steel. The second one, well, I guess it was the third. Never mind. Just scratch that. Doesn't matter. That theory sucks. So, anyway. Anyway, but yeah, there's just another. There's another thing.
Let's move on here. We didn't talk about that anymore.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and there are shots that are in the Donner cut of Superman 2 that you'll see where Christopher Reeve is a lot smaller than he is later on in the film. Like even in this one that we just watched, he's a lot smaller in some of the scenes with Gene Hackman than he is in some of the desert scenes that just appear a few seconds later. He's super buff and everything. This movie, LJ, trivia time. We still here? I guess we're still
Yeah.
here. This movie spent 13 weeks at number one. It was one of the first kind of blockbusters at that time.
Yeah, with the kind of shit they did in the movie, I can imagine. I obvious it's obvious why.
With the tagline, "You'll believe a man can fly." The script rewrite happened. The original script was done by Mario Puzo, who did The Godfather, and it was super cheesy, is what we hear. I haven't personally read it. I'm just giving you the rundown, LJ. What's a rundown? It's I was giving you the rundown of about about what it's like, and it was just super cheesy. A lot of references for the time. I guess apparently Lex was eating Kleenex. He had I don't know. There was a lot of different things. Yeah, just weird tropes. But that was rewritten by Tom Mankiewicz, and he had done a lot of stuff in Hollywood at the time and come from a big Hollywood family, and they refused to give him writer's credit, so they gave him a big creative consultative sign or credit in the film at the opening credits that you fast forwarded through, LJ.
Oh yeah.
But if you look,
I never went back and rewatched that.
It's okay. Maybe you will. Maybe you will.
I was like, okay, well, maybe this is now the time to, right?
But around him, all of that stuff was done. There was a big circle around him. Anyway, they did that. They gave it to him. What? What are you laughing at? Did I hit my microphone?
Yeah.
Ah! But they put a big
marks.
circle around him. In that same vein, LJ, look at that segue. A lot of that stuff that was done in the opening credits was done by macro photography. like filming algae lit at a certain light and at high speed and high definition back in the day, as high as they could.
Yeah.
And they overlaid that over all the space film that they could get their hands on.
Dang.
So
Well, I
like
guess
all of that stuff with the fortress and all that was like all edited together. Originally it was really going to be just Marlon Brando's face, just like everything else, just talking to him, but it just
dang.
didn't work. And so they were just like, well, how can we make this
Let's
work?
try this.
So
Yeah, try something else.
try something else. The model of the Golden Gate Bridge stood 70.
I called it the Golden State
Golden State,
Bridge.
yeah. It was 70 feet long and 20 feet wide.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So this was one of the first. So this was one of the first superhero movies of its time, and like because a lot of the times the actors just were flabby, like Adam West. I'm sorry, Adam, I love you. They didn't wear muscle suits. They didn't try to work out.
Don't forgive him, Adam. Don't called you out,
He's
dude.
passed. So
Dang.
that's even
All right, it's
worse.
family then. It's family
You
then.
know,
He didn't mean that.
or
Yeah,
it's
but I
like,
get that. You know,
or like with George Reeves, the Superman earlier in the 50s, he wore a padded muscle suit. And so Christopher Reeve was like, look, I'm not gonna do this.
no.
I'm gonna bulk up and I can do this. And
And
so
I think that if they're gonna play a role like that, they have to look the part too, you know, not
yeah,
just play. Because I could be Superman.
but he was the you couldn't be Christopher Reeve. And
Nope.
you know, but more people can be Superman besides Christopher Reeve, but he was just a wonderful embodiment of that character. Oh yeah, but anyway, he was the first to kind of take it to that level. We talked about verisimilitude, and Donner said it's a word that refers to being real, not realistic. Yes, there is a difference, but real.
That's it. I mean, it
there was a
technically is real.
yeah,
It's not, you know.
yeah. A lot of people were up for the role of Jor-El and Superman. They tried to offer it to everybody. But the another one was Char was Charlton Heston. He played Moses and the voice of God in the Ten Commandments, that like 8-hour movie back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever watched the whole thing, but
Let's
you
see.
like that 8-hour movie.
According to Richard Donner, at some point in the film, because they were filming two movies at one time, there were 7 units filming simultaneously. There were 7 units filming simultaneously. Like, okay, we got a miniature unit on Krypton. We've got the actual set on Krypton. We've got, and it's like, okay, and you're in Canada and I'm with Marlon Brando like LJ wants to be, but you're over here in Canada, Kansas, like hanging out with being young Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, filming
things.
simultaneously. Yep.
That's just insane to me. Just all the
Well, that takes a lot of
technology.
coordination too.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Everything that they had done at that time to really kind of achieve the things that they had done.
Yeah.
Well, look, this brings us to the end of our journey, LJ, of Superman the movie. I am absolutely 1,000% sure that I don't think we missed anything in this review. I think that we covered every absolute detail of this film. And I care someone to debate me on
that. It's like, bring it on and tell me what I missed.
No, there's absolutely no way. There's so many documentaries on this film, like hours and hours of stuff that have just gone into the love and dedication that they gave to this film. What did you think? I know we watched it in three different parts, but you can see how it can fit simultaneously together, and it really takes care and love of the Superman story. What are your final thoughts on this movie? Well,
Well,
I
I
guess not
mean,
final thoughts because we may talk about the effects later on down the line, but
yeah, okay, so it's a classic, of course. And outside of that, just the people they picked to star in the film and the plot and of course the technology that they used to make it a reality was, I mean, it all fit perfectly together.
yeah,
And I don't know, man. It's when you think about movies back then that were made this well, considering everything they did in the film and to make it look as realistic as possible, it's amazing, man.
yeah.
It is absolutely amazing that a group of people can make it happen like that.
Well, I'm telling you, man, I'm so grateful to be able to share my favorite movie with you, and to be able to share some of the things about it. That front projection thing was just amazing. They're like, we've got these big screens. How can we figure out how to make this work? And that thing with the camera, with it coming at a 45-degree angle. Did we talk about that?
No, I mean,
I don't know if we did. We
I don't think
will.
we
We've got
did.
to do a Superman. We've got to do a Superman effects thing. But anyway, just they basically were set up big movie theaters and had them on gimbals or on so many different ways, that they attempted to make him fly. And just the love and care that went to the story of the
Yeah.
Krypton sequence, uh, everything of the morals being learned in Smallville, and then the comic book craziness of Metropolis, and then the madness and fury of Lex Luthor, his
Yeah,
grand
right.
scheme,
Yeah.
and he resolves it all. It's a ride. It definitely is a ride. It doesn't stay the same for too long. So
Yep. No, I agree, man.
yeah,
Yeah, so far, and I'm anxious to start the second and the third one, to see
yeah,
how the rest of it unfolds, because this is only the beginning, right?
yeah. It is. Well, we'll talk later and see what off the books and see what we can come up with to do next time. I know we were talking about Star Wars. This does kind of lead right into the same timeline because the set director who did John Barry, who did all of the Krypton stuff and helped them design the sets for this movie, he also did Star Wars and stuff like that as well. And it was shot at Pinewood, bits of it, I believe. I haven't done all my research. God, I'm sure if we do Star Wars, man, they're gonna let us know in the comments. They're like, actually,
Probably.
it was filmed in. I'm like, hey, man, I'm real sorry. I'm doing my best here.
Can't possibly know everything, right?
No, that you've got to. You're on the internet. You've got to know
Oh
anything,
yeah,
everything.
everything.
You can't just be expressing an opinion here. That's all
No,
we're doing. But thank you guys for tuning in, for listening and subscribing. Give a thumbs up, leave a like and a review. It seriously does help the algorithm. I know this is crazy, but we're just a young podcast and YouTube channel starting off. So please, anything you can do to help us, we sincerely appreciate. Uh, you've been listening to. Wait, no, I'm not going to do it yet.
no.
My name is Casey Jones.
And my name is LJ Solar.
All right, and you've been listening to. You want to do it? Go ahead.
Yeah. What? Do what? Listening to.